So, good evening, everyone. I hope all of you are doing well. I welcome on behalf of Expert Trainers Academy. I welcome you all on this day two of the training, which is uh, which is done by Expert Trainers Academy for ISO 45001 Lead Auditor course in association with IIRSM. I hope I am audible, guys. For those who are new to this class, the day 2 class, let me give you a small introduction about IIRSM, what is Experts Trainers Academy, what we do. So IIRSM, guys, is an international institute of risk and safety management, is an UK based professional body, guys, uh, which has a global footprint. IIRSM, or International Institute of Risk and Safety Management, support individuals as well as organizations around the world for risk and sustainability management. Currently, IIRSM has members for more than 100 countries. Certifications like ISO 45001, which is backed up by international institute like IIRSM, create a good credibility in national as well as international market. For those, I hope maximum people who have joined today, maximum trainees, are aware of Experts Trainers Academy, what we are and what we do. For those who are new, let me give you a small introduction of Experts Trainers Academy. So guys, Experts Trainers Academy is a leading professional training institute which is specialized in occupational health and safety and ISO trainings that you can see in your screen. We offer globally recognized certification and other diploma courses like IOSH, OSHA's, ISO Lead Auditor, OTHM, and etc. So again, guys, this side Zen, I'll be your trainer for this training course on ISO 45001. Let me give you a small introduction of myself also, guys. So I have a total of 9 years of experience in the field of HSC and sustainability. I have done more than 300 plus ISO audit consultation projects all across India as well as international. I hold a bachelor's degree in fire and safety and master's degree in environmental health and safety with a specialization in sustainability. So guys, till yesterday, till day 1, these are the following modules which we have to cover. Till yesterday we have covered from module 1 to module 4. Module 1 to module 4, we have discussed the clause 4, clause 5, and clause 6 of ISO 45001. Let me rewind it once again, guys. Let me open the ISO standard, just a second. I hope my screen is visible to everyone. So till yesterday, we have started from clause one, which is we have tried to understand what are auditable clause and what are non-auditable clause. For non-auditable clause, guys, we have studied clause one, clause two, and clause three. These are the non-auditable clause that we have understand, and then we have started the auditable clauses, starting from clause 4 to clause 5 to clause 6. Till yesterday we have covered all these clauses which I have highlighted in green color. For those who are new, don't worry, guys. On last day we'll be going through each and every clause which are mentioned in the standard. So we have started from the context of organization, where we have understand what are the interested party, what is meant by interested party, what are external and internal issues. We have discussed various external and internal issues that are faced by an organization, and how those external as well as internal issue affect overall OHS management system of the organization. Then we have gone through leadership and worker participations, where we have understand what is meant by consultation and what is meant by participation, how in what way we can consult and participate our workers, and how the commitment and how the involvement of leadership in any organization can have a good impact on overall occupational health and safety management system. Just a second, guys. Okay, guys, from from another clause. For today, we'll try to cover the clause 7, clause 8, and clause 9 of this ISO management system, followed by last clause, which is clause 10. I hope everyone is clear till now, guys. I hope everyone is clear till now, guys. Okay, guys. I think we should start from the. So yesterday we have covered first four module of this presentation, from understanding occupational health and safety management system fundamental, understanding how OHS management system in an organization can be linked with ISO 45001 requirement. We understand the context of organization, leadership, and policy. Additionally, we understand what is hazard identification and what is risk assessment, and how this hazard identification and risk assessment can develop into opportunities. We also discuss planning and operation control. So today we will discuss from the module 5, which is support. What is meant by support process. So clause 8 of occupational health and safety management system specifically state about operational control. So what is meant by operational control? When I say operation control, so operation control ensures safety during daily work activity. It helps in managing risk. Operation control could be a plan, a procedure which could be helped during the safe operation. For example, if there is a confined space entry, so the normally organization has operational control standard operating procedure or operation control plan, where in which it depict, it inform what is the importance, what is the importance, and how to carry out this critical work activity. So it operation control implements safe system of work. It also control contractor and supplier activities. Operation control manage change in process. Whenever there's a change in process, then operation control help us to safely doing the change process mechanism. For example, yesterday I've given an example when we were reviewing a piping a PNID for a separator. Instead of pressure safety valve, a pressure relief valve have been installed. So that was the operational control process of my previous organization, wherein we tried to understand and identify each and every process safety hazard prior to commissioning through a PPNID. So that operational control help us to identify this management process. Point number 4, guys: ensure emergency preparedness. So emergency preparedness is one of the most important operational control process, because an emergency preparedness include all important and critical identify emergency scenario in the that could happen in the organization, followed by monitoring risk and maintaining safe working condition. Let me take you to the standard once again, guys, so you can relate it better. So, for example, this is the clause 8. Clause 8 for operational control. So, it has various subclause. The clause 8 operational control specifically wants to make us understand what is meant by operational control, wherein they identify establishment of OHS management system plan, and it also involve various elimination of hazard. 8.1.2 elimination of hazards and reducing occupational health and safety risk. Management of change process. So don't worry, guys, we'll be going through each and every clause in upcoming session through this standard once we have completed our presentation. So, guys, just want to add one thing. You can see our team is constantly updating a group link followed by a mobile number. I will request everyone to join that particular group. And if you are facing any technical issue, kindly contact to the mobile number which is just below the link. We will keep updating all the information, all the presentations. Now, emergency preparedness and response. So, emergency preparedness and response, guys, is one of the most important thing in ISO 45001. So, first of all, ISO 45001 emphasize organization must prepare an emergency control measure to minimize injury, damage, and disruptions, wherein emergency preparedness and response plan or ERP shall identify potential emergency situation. It could be a process emergency, it could be a non-process emergencies, but all emergency situation needs to be there. So guys, can you give in chat box, can you give some examples of emergency situations that you have identified in your workplace, guys? So guys, anybody guys can give some examples of emergency situation that you have identified? Electrical shock, gas leak, fire hazards, fall from height. Okay, okay, great guys. This is all, this is only why I want to understand. So see, you can see my screen. I've opened clause 8.2, which states about emergency preparedness and response, which states organization shall establish, implement, and maintain a process needed to prepare for and respond to potential emergency situations identified in 6.1.2.1. I hope yesterday we have gone through this particular clause wherein the clause states about identification of emergency situation. So these are the thing, this is particular 8.2. So let me give you an example, guys. Whenever you will be going for an ISO audit in future, I hope everybody one of us will be going for the certification program. Because guys, see, if you enroll for the certification program, it will be when you it will be very easy for you guys to go for an ISO consultant or HSC consultant. Because you can see when you see any post on LinkedIn or any other platform for an HSC consultant, HSC auditor, you'll find the minimum bare requirement is ISO 45001 certified. This is a minimum bare requirement, guys. So I hope you'll be doing this certification. So whenever we go for in the organization for ISO 45001 audit, so we also used to see, we also carry out the emergency preparedness and response drill, followed by identifying the plan. So either of these six things, guys, is always missing. There are 30 to 40% chance, if they have emergency response plan, there are chances that they have not identified potential emergency situations, like you have said, fall from height, fire, and etc. Or if they have emergency response plan, they didn't conduct any mock drills. So you have to be very thorough, guys. When you go for an ISO audit, you have to see each and every aspect of emergency response plan. It's not like that if an organization has emergency response plan in place but they are not following, so there's no use of emergency response plan, and this is total violation of clause 8.2 of ISO 45001. I hope everybody understand what I want to say them, what I want to make them understand. Point number three, guys, conducting drill and mock exercise. So, guys, I have a question. What is the difference between a mock drill and mock exercise? A drill and mock exercise. What is the difference between a drill and mock exercise? Guys, please, we are HSC guys. We should be knowing, we should be understand the difference between drill and mock exercise. So see, whenever ISO 45001 states about a drill, it want to say a practical or a specific activity of response. Or in mock exercise, there's a simulation of complete emergency scenario. The objective of drill is to test the skill or the procedure. And when I say a mock, it is to test overall emergency preparedness system. So in a simple way, when I say on a simple way, a drill is practicing how to use a fire extinguisher. There's a drill. But and when I say a mock exercise, it is whole simulation of the fire and evacuation. I hope everybody understand what I want to say. So we have to be very thorough and very relevant, guys. Whenever we are saying a drill and a mock exercise, we have to understand what the auditee wants to show us. Point number 4, guys. Provide emergency equipment. ISO 45001 specifically emphasize in their resource clause that each and every resource which are required for upliftment of occupational health and safety management system, it is very important for the leadership to provide all adequate emergency equipment. Point number 5, guys. Train emergency response team. So it emphasized that there should be an emergency response team who could identify the emergency scenario and lead in case of an unwanted or unprecedented emergency. Last but not the least, guys, it is very important to review emergency plan after the incident. So let me take you to the clause once again. So 8.2, we are discussing about the 8.2 clause, which is emergency preparedness and response. Organization shall establish, implement, and maintain a process needed to prepare for and to respond potential emergency situations. Now, point A, establish planned emergency response to emergency situation, including the provision of first aid. Point 2, guys, provide training for the planned response. Point 3, periodically testing the exercise of the planned emergency capability. Point number 4, guys, evaluation of the performance and necessary revising of the planned response, including testing, particular after the occurrence of the emergency situation. If there is any need of change, then that should be implemented. Communicate and provide relevant information to all workers on their duties and responsibilities. So, guys, second last point, guys, communicating relevant information of contractor, visitor, emergency response services, government authority as appropriate local community. Last point, guys, taking into account needs and capability of relevant interested party and ensure their involvement as appropriate in development of the plan. So here is my question, guys. Who are the external and internal interested party during an emergency? Or who could be a potential external as well as internal interested party during an emergency, guys? Can anybody tell me? You want me to repeat my question, guys? My question is, who are the potential external and internal interested party during an emergency? What I was asking is, who are external and internal interested party during an emergency? Okay, external parties are the management. Oh, internal parties are the management, sorry. External parties are the government body. External parties are neighbors. Okay. So guys, there are 64 people in the chat. I was anticipating that too much of input and too much of answer will be receiving. Internal parties such as EHS team and emergency teams, etc. Okay. External firefighters. Okay. So guys, with context to ISO audit, it is very important when we do an ISO audit. It is very important to understand that the auditee, the one who we are auditing, has identified external and internal interested parties for an emergency. If they have not identified, it could be a non-conformance or opportunity for improvement, depending on the situation. Don't worry, guys. On last day, we'll be going through the reports of ISO audits. In those reports, we'll try to understand these concepts. So, awareness and communication ensure safety information is shared effectively. Yesterday, guys, who all have joined, we have discussed about the ways of communication. Therein, we have tried to understand the difference between types of communication, which ISO emphasize, which are internal communication and external communication. So, first thing, guys, worker must understand safety risk through communication. Communication should be very clear and effective. Safety information must be shared regularly. Awareness program improve safety culture. Feedback system should be implemented. Communication ensure coordination. So, guys, documentation is one of the most important thing and one of the most critical thing when you go for an ISO audit, because when you when we discussed about documentation, there's a specific section in ISO. Let me show you this that section. Okay, guys. So in support, we were discussing the support clause. We were discussing this particular clause, guys. Support. The support in support clause, the communication. 7.4 specifically states about the communication, and there are two ways of communication. First one is the internal communication, and second one is the external communication. Then clause 7.5 specifically states about the documented information. Therein this clause emphasizes the importance of creating and updating document and having a documented information system in the workplace. Let me go through this clause. So or the clause specifically state that organization shall internally communicate the information of relevant OHS management system among the various level and function of the organization, including changes to the OHS management system as appropriate. So when we communicate within the organization, within the workers itself, within the internal stakeholder, the communications is known as an internal communication. Now when we say about external communication, when I say about external communication, the organization shall externally communicate information to the relevant OHS management system established by organization communication process by taking into account legal requirement and other requirement. When we communicate with the legal authority or the government body, the communications here is known as an external communication. I hope everybody understand what I want to say. Now, clause 7.5 states about documented information. What is documented information? So generally in OHS management system shall include documented information by this document. So this clause specify about creating and updating the document. Let me give you an example. If there is an OHS policy which is recently updated in the organization, however on ground level the old OHS policy which is 5 years old is used. So this is a direct violation of clause 7.5.2, which states about creating and updating. Or at the same time, it could be a violation of clause 7.5.3, which is control of the documented information. So when creating and updating document of documented information, the organization shall appropriately appropriate identification and description, which include date, authority, reference number. Format, what type of format is a electronic format or media, depend upon the situation. Review and approval section should be there. So guys, till now, do you face any uh okay guys, thank you everyone. So guys, till now, did you have any doubt? Because then we'll be moving ahead to another clause. Okay guys, so let me ask you a question. For example, I've gone Okay, thank you guys. I've gone for an audit, an ISO 45001 audit, and during that particular audit, I identify that the water produced during in ETP process has exceeded the limit created by the local government, and that was not communicated to the government. So, is it issues with internal communication or it has issue with the external communication? Why it has why it is related to an external communication, guys? Ritesh is telling it is an issue with internal communication. Mr. Alam is also telling it's internal communication. Why, guys? Why it is internal communication? Can anybody explain? Mr. Ritesh, can you explain me why it is an internal communication? Yes. So, guys, you understand we are communicating outside the boundary of our organization. The government body, when we say about the government body is something the government body, guys, is something which is related to an external stakeholder. When we are communicating with external stakeholder, the communication is external communication, whereas when we are communicating with our internal stakeholder, the communication is internal communication. I hope everybody understand what I want to say, what ISO wants to say in terms of documentation and communication. So, guys, you can see in my page, this is a document control flowchart. Whenever you create a document, first and foremost thing, you create a document is being reviewed. Once the document is reviewed, it is being approved, and once the document is approved, it's stored or it is given a DCI number if it is on an electronic form. So this is the document control flowchart based on ISO 45001 requirement of recent clause which we have gone through. Let me give you an example, guys. Whenever you go for an ISO audit, or whenever we go for an ISO audit, we if we find any gap in this flowchart, we can give non-conformance against this particular item. Just in case, for example, if there is an emergency control plan in the organization, however, the document does not mention who created the plan, the document does not mention who reviews the plan, and the document is not mentioned who has approved the plan, then there is no use of this document, because there is no traceability, you can't trace the document. So you can give non-conformance against the document control. So this is a document control flowchart. Okay, I hope everybody understand, guys, because now we are moving to clause 9. Now we are moving to clause 9, which is monitoring and measurement. How many people are new today? Okay, for those trainees, those participants who are new. Okay, Sujit ji, Kishit ji, Mohammad ji, I want to recommend, if you are new, don't leave the session. We will be having 3 more days, including today we will be having 2 other days this training session. And on the last day we'll review each and every clause on the standard itself. So, okay, so what I want to say, don't leave the training session for next 2 days and including today, because on last day we'll be going through each and every standard. It will be very beneficial and very informative for you guys. Okay, Mr. Flex is saying you should have given us a sample of document control flowchart. So, sir, I would request you to join the group via link which is being texted in in the comment box. There in the group, we will keep updating all the necessary information. Okay, guys. Clause 9 of ISO 45001. Clause 9 is the second last clause of this standard, which states about monitoring and measurement. Because till from clause 4 to clause 8, we have implemented various occupational health and safety management system in our workplace. For example, we have identified risk and opportunities, we have identified we have carried out HERA, we have identified external and internal stakeholder, we have carried out risk assessment, and many more. But once we have done, we need to regularly monitor and measure the implementation which we have done. That's why clause 9 specifically tell about monitoring and measuring what we have done yet with terms of active and reactive control measures. Point 1 is using KPI to measure the safety performance. KPI, or key performance indicator, is one of the best way to measure safety performance of an organization, be it an active control measure or be it reactive control measure. KPI is very important, and I'm anticipating many of us who have joined regularly monitoring key performance indicators of their workplace with respect to health and safety. So when I say KPI, guys, KPI is not very generic or or a very common thing. To prepare KPI, we should understand what is objective. We should understand what is meant by target. Then this picture of KPI comes into the action. So a KPI without objectives and targets is baseless thing. I hope everyone understand what I want to say to the participants. For example, objective without for example, improving safety readiness is my objective. I have carried out a mock drill, and I identified that there are many gaps in terms of safety management during my mock drill. So my objective become improve fire and safety readiness. So what could be my target? My target could be 100% mock drill compliance across all the site. This could be my target. And what could be my KPI for this? My KPI for this could be the number of drill conducted versus plan. If we have planned 4 drills for this week, but we have carried out 2 drill, we have lagged by 50% or we have achieved only 50% of KPI. So in this way, KPI is linked with objectives and targets. In a simple way, objective without KPI is not measurable, or KPI without target has no benchmarking. So each and everything, we have KPI, we have objective, we have target, are linked with each other. So guys, you have any doubt? First of all, I want to ask everyone, who, do you have any doubt with respect to what is KPI and what is target? Should I explain once again what is objective, what is KPI, or what is target? Okay, okay. Because guys, I'm emphasizing on this particular thing, what particular thing of KPI and target, because this is one of the most important clause. When we will be seeing the ISO standard, you will understand. Okay, I'm explaining, guys. No need to comment. I'm explaining once again, guys. So you focus what I'm trying to say you. So guys, on our last day when we will be going through the standard, you will understand how much KPI, how much the concept of objective or the KPI is very critical and how much it is important. So I'm explaining you once again. First of all, we always make an objective. Once we have make an objective, or once we have assigned the objective, to achieve that objective, we prepare targets. Targets could be one, target could be two. For a single objective, there can be n number of targets. Once we prepare the target, we make KPIs to achieve those target, or key performance indicator. Yes, Mr. Isaac. Uh, right now, I'm trying to communicate with everyone. Just listen what I want to say, because this particular thing, KPI, objective targets, are very important with respect to ISO 45001 requirement. So right now, just hear me what I want to say. I'm repeating once again, guys. First, we prepare objective, or first we identify the objective. Then we prepare targets to achieve that particular objective. And then to achieve those targets or objective, we prepare key performance indicators to review the performance. I'm explaining with an example. I have carried out a mock drill in my company. I have carried out mock drill in my company, and during that mock drill, I have identified my fire and safety readiness is not up to the mark. I'm repeating once again. I have carried out mock drill in my company, and during that mock drill, I have identified my fire and safety readiness is not up to the mark. So, what could be my objective? My objective could be improve my fire and safety readiness. I hope everybody understand till now. You can give me a thumbs up so I'll understand that till now everybody understands and I'll move ahead. Okay, thank you guys. Okay. So my objective become improve fire and safety readiness. Now, in order to improve fire and safety readiness, we will identify the target. What could be my target? Target could be 100% mock drill compliance across the site. This could be my target. What could be my KPI? KPI could will be if I plan 4 drill in this week, how much drill I have carried out. If I have carried out 2 drill, then my drill number become 50%, or my KPI become 50%. Yes, guys, I'll be sharing the screen. Don't worry. Just listen me what I want to say with you guys right now. Example number 2. My objective is to reduce workplace incident. Workplace incident reduction is my objective. So my target could be 30% reduction in my incidents in 12 months. This is my target. My KPI could be reduction make KPI will be more specific in this case. Reduction in LTIFR by this much percent, reduction in first aid by this much XYZ percent. So this would be my target. Example number three, my objective is enhance safety awareness. Enhancement of safety awareness is my objective. What could be my target? Target could be train 95% of workforce in safety. If I train workforce in safety, my safety awareness will all automatically enhance. What could be my KPI? Training completion percentage in each month or for each week. So guys, I hope everybody understand the difference between KPI objectives and targets. Point number two, guys, monitor workplace condition. How can we monitor workplace place condition? By carrying out various internal audits. For this particular point, we'll be covering in upcoming session. Sorry, in upcoming slide. Hopefully today only. Point number three, tracking incidents and near miss. Because by tracking incident and near miss, we can identify, we can anticipate, and we can identify how we are performing with respect to, sorry, OHS management system. Point number four, guys, evaluation of compliance. Five is review safety data regularly and improve performance. So you can see in my screen, guys, an excellent example of monitoring and measurement. You can see in this, guys, you can see here, guys, first of all we have identified total recordable incidents. We have identified near misses. Safety observations has been identified. This is, you can take as a month or as an yearly. What are the completion ratio of safety training we have identified? Incident trends. What are the incident trends throughout the year in January, February, March, April? What are the incident trends has been identified? We have also identified incidents type. You can see in the screen, for example, slip and trip and fall. 40% of incident are with respect to slip and trip. 20% are related to cut injury. So we have identified what are the types of incidents. Safety compliance. What is the safety compliance has been achieved? Because every organization have their internal safety compliance also. What are the stats of safety observation? Near miss trend. So what I want to say, or what we want to explain you with terms of ISO 45001, is that monitoring and measurement is very important with respect to ISO certification. When you face any ISO audit, the auditor will always focus on the ways to identify active and reactive control measure, or reactive issues like incidents uh, or accidents in the workplace. So guys, do you have any doubt? I hope everybody is clear till now, guys. Don't worry, guys. Uh, on our last session, so guys, our team is constantly updating on chat box a WhatsApp link. I would request everyone to join that WhatsApp link, because we'll be sharing important material in that link. And anybody who is facing any issue can contact on the below number, which is just below the link. So, internal audit. What is the reason of internal audit? The reason we do internal audit is to check the system effectiveness and compliance, the effectiveness of the OHS management system, how effectively it is implemented. Point number one, audits verify compliance with ISO 45001. Point number two, auditor must be competent. So, guys, if I am asking, I have a question with everyone. I have a question with everyone, guys. How to know that auditor is competent? Can anybody give me answer how to know that an auditor is competent? So, guys, there are approx 80 participants right now. To be certified and experienced, okay, he must have ISO 45001 certification. Okay, certification and experience, great. So, guys, maximum people who have joined here has experience. I'm anticipating a good amount of experience in the world of HSC. At the same time, I would recommend everyone to have to take this certification also, because this certification will showcase your competency in front of the auditee or in front of the management. See, Wakasji, yes, knowledge, experience, and training is very important. And with time, you'll gain the knowledge. With time, you'll gain the experience also. But for certification, you have to invest some time. For certification, you have to study the standard, and this certification will and this certification will make you on the other line and lead ahead of the other people. Auditor must be competent. Internal audit identify gaps. That's why audit plan must be prepared, evidence must be collected, reports must be documented. So I hope everyone understand what I was trying to say. And when we say about ISO requirement for audit, let me show you the standard. 9, which is performance evaluation. So 9.2 specifically states about internal audit. Normally, there are two types of audit: external audit and internal audit. The clause 9.2 specifically states about the internal audit requirement, wherein the clause give stress that clause stressed out on internal audit program, wherein it says that organization shall establish, plan, and implement and maintain an audit program including frequency, method, responsibility, consultation, planning, requirement, and reporting. The audit plan should define audit criteria and scope of each audit. Selected auditor conduct audit to ensure objectivity and impartiality of the audit process. And the selected auditors are the higher the certification and experience, higher the chances to be an auditor. There's a reason, guys. We want to make you aware about the importance of this certification. We have during an internal audit program, we have to make sure that the result of audit report are are reported to relevant stakeholders like managers. So what I was saying, that 9.2 states about internal audit program. The clause 9.2 of ISO standard states about the internal audit program, wherein clause 9.2.2 specifically stressed down the importance of carrying out and prepare an audit plan. In point number A, specifically states plan, establish, implement, and maintain an internal audit program including frequency, method, responsibility, consultation, planning, requirement, and reporting. Point number two, guys, it should define the audit criteria and scope. When how to identify the scope? Scope could be a specific part of the organization or the specific unit of the organization. What could be the criteria? Requirement of ISO 45001 could be a criteria. Point number three, guys, selected auditors and should conduct audit. Who are the selected auditors? Who have trainings and who have certifications are the selected auditors. Don't worry, guys, we'll be going through each and every part on our last day. Audit planning. When I say about audit planning, so audit planning, guys, is one of the most we can say a critical and at the same time is one of the most important thing. When we as an EHS or ISO 45001, when I go for an audit, prior to going to audit, there are tons of checklists that I have to make sure that I have gone through. Be it the checklist which I have to prepare, because each audit requires different types of checklist. There should be a process for opening meeting, there will be a process of closing meeting, and many more. We will be seeing all these things in the upcoming slide, guys. So this is about audit principle. You can see in my slide. Audit principles ensure that audits are reliable and effective. First of all, they guide auditor to perform their work professionally and objectively. So these are six concrete point that help us to carry out audit, or that will guide us to carry out audit in most evident good way. First of all is the integrity. So it is important as an auditor, guys, We all are future EHS auditor or future ISO auditors. Once we have carried out this certification, we'll be going for audit. So it is basic responsibility of we as an individual ISO auditors is to being honest. First of all, being ethical and being professional. It should not like that we will take our personal grudge to other people or other department. What I want to say with the term integrity is that auditor perform work truthfully without any biasness or manipulation. So with this I'll be taking you to the second point, fair presentation. The point two wants to say that the report findings should be accurately and objectively. I'm giving you an example. If I write on my ISO report that during the audit I have identified extinguishers were missing, it will, in terms of ISO, it will, this will reject, because I have not given a fair presentation of the evidence or of the point. In terms of ISO or in terms of a professional auditor, what we want to write should be what we should write is that during the audit at this particular location of this unit, we found that a carbon dioxide fire extinguisher was missing. As carbon dioxide extinguisher or CO2 extinguisher is very critical for this particular server room, for example. So this is a fair presentation. Third point, guys, due professional care, which specifically means applying competency and diligence. Point number four, guys, confidentiality. Because, guys, ISO audit report should be very confidential. It should not like that the report must not be shared with any competitor or rivaler. It needs to be very confidential. As an auditor, it is very basic responsibility of us as an auditor is not to disclose clients incident data to others. Independence, here independence is being unbiased and free from conflict of interest. Last but not the least, guys, least point, guys, evidence based approach, decision based. So whatever we write in ISO audit should be backed up by evidence. Let me take you with my previous example. If I have wrote in the report that carbon dioxide extinguisher was missing in the particular unit, but I have not mentioned any evidence, the report would be partially could be partially correct, or report could be rejected by the top management because I have not shown any evidence. So in order to have evidence, guys, we have to make sure that we should take the photographs. If photographs is not allowed, we should take the log of extinguisher. So in this way, it should be an evidence-based approach. Finding must be supported by data, records, observation, or image. We can use inspection records, photo, or reading as a proof. So guys, do you have any doubt till now on this six audit principle? Not clear? Four. Okay. In point four, what we want to say is that the data is very confidential and audit data is very confidential. We should never share a audit report as an ISO 45001 auditor. We should never share this audit report with any other competitor or any other external or stakeholder which could hamper our image by showing this report to other people or other competitors or other in the market. So this point 6 points is just now I've explained all these 6 points about integrity, fair presentation, professionalism, confidentiality, independence, and evidence-based approach. I hope everyone understand. Now, auditor competency. Auditor must have the right knowledge and skill to conduct audit effectively. Competency ensure quality and reliability. That's why our auditor must have strong understanding of ISO 45001 requirement and safety management system. They must possess good communication skills to interact effectively with the auditees. Third point, guys, analytical skills are required to identify root cause and system weakness. This third point is very critical point, guys. Let me give you an example. Let me share an example with you guys, related to this analytical skill. So recently, I have gone to audit, gone for an audit for an automobile industry. I will not tell the name, but during the audit, we identi- we identify there, we anticipate that auditor has updated each and every EHS management system, and excellent report will be made for them, and there will be no non-conformance during the audit. But during the during document review, what I identify is that I got a receipt for an HSE consulting firm, wherein they have came and prepared all the document for them on their behalf. However, no one were aware about the documentation, what documentation actually speaks about. So there is a huge violation of ISO. So these analytical skills needs to be developed within us as an auditor, guys. Auditor must have practical knowledge of workplace safety practices. Continuous learning and training are required to maintain competency. That's why a continuous learning. ISO, it's not like we have applied for the certification, we are certified, and we will not keep us updated. It's very important for us to carry out regular training, like we are carrying on, like Expert Trainers Academy is giving training for ISO 45001. So regular training is very important. Professional behavior and ethics are essential for credibility as an auditor. So these are the types of audit, guys: internal audit, external audit, operational audit, certification audit, supplier audit, environmental compliance audit. These are some of the examples of types of audit. Let me take you one by one for each types of categories. First is internal audit. Internal audit is something which is carried out by internal stakeholders, organizations' own teams, or organizations' own certified internal auditors carried out internal audit. What is the purpose of carrying out internal audit, guys? The purpose of carrying out internal audit is to check whether internal process comply with the standards and the company procedure. Its frequency could be quarterly, half-yearly, or monthly. Normally, when we carry out internal audit, our focus areas are internal gaps or internal process compliance. Then we have external audits. External audits are normally third party audits. It third party could be client. For example, client wants to understand the HSE management system of the organization. That's why they have carried out an external audit. So external audit could be the client. Then we have certification audits also, so guys. For example, a TUV have came, TUV or Bureau Veritas came for certification 45,001 audit. So these are certifications audit which are carried by certification bodies. Then we have environmental audit, wherein we try to understand the greenhouse gas emission, the scope emission calculation. We try to understand the environment, social governance practices in the organization. Then we have compliance audit. A compliance audit is done by government auditor. So these are types of audit, some types of audit that are in place. So as you can see, our internal audit, external audit, certification audit, surveillance audit, supplier audits. So these are some of the examples of the types of audit. I hope I've explained you the types of audit. Is there any doubt, guys? I hope everyone understand the types of audit. What are the types of audit? Okay, thank you, guys. So this is the last module of the day, module 8, which is audit planning and preparation. So guys, when we go for an audit, we just not normally go and carry out the audit. There are some plannings that has been that used to be done prior to going to an audit. So if you ask me, when I go for an audit, for example, day after tomorrow, I'll be going for an ISO audit. So last week only, before going to that audit, what I have done, I've emailed the client to understand the work practices of the organization, the process of the organization. I've tried to understand what are the departments are there. I've tried to understand the covered area and the plot area of the organization. I have shared the list of documents with respect to ISO 45001. What are the documents I'll be needing? So they will be keep prepared. I have also defined the time at which I'll start opening meeting and time when I will start closing meeting. Because guys, this is a 2 day audit where I'm going. This is a 1 day audit where I'll be going. So in this 1 day, I have to in this 1 day, in the 1 day which include 8 hours only. In this 8 hours, because 8 hours is the working time. In this 8 hours, I have to carry out audit. At the same time, I have to do my opening meeting. I have to do my closing meeting. I have to do my lunch. I have to see the documentation. I have to visit the site. I have to communicate with the people, and at the same time I have to prepare closing meeting report. So when we say audit, so these are the things, minimum bare thing that we have to do. That's why first and foremost thing prior to going for the audit is to make sure we have defined the scope of the audit. Is it a ISO audit, is an HSE audit, or it's a audit for a client requirement? Because if our scope is clear, our audit report and audit will be effective. Then we will establish the objective. What is the objective? Because once the audit is done, what is the objective you want to achieve by carrying out audit? It is only for a compliance verification, or you will be seeing, or you will be showing audit report to third, or to the third party, or to the client, or you will be giving us further opportunity to understand if HSE management system can be uplift based on the audit report, or XYZ things, guys. So we have understand the scope of the audit. Then we try to understand the objective. Then we try to understand the objective of the audit. Third thing is that we have to understand the criteria. What is the criteria of audit? Is it an ISO 45001 audit, or if it's an fire audit, or it's a risk assessment? What type of audit? Or it's an ISO 14001 audit? What type of audit is this? Normally, any types of HSE audit, ISO 45001 is the basic requirement. Then a team is allocated based on the criteria. For let me give you an same example for an audit which I'll be going day after tomorrow, on Sunday, basically. Sorry, Sunday. So the audit team mentioned that they want to carry out ISO 45001 audit. Followed by this, they also want a report for electrical safety assessment. So for this particular project, I'll be going with me. A electrical engineer will also be going with me. Then we have identified the scope, we have identified the objective, we have defined the criteria, we have identified the team. Then we will make schedule, a plan, how audit will be done. So a schedule will include at what time I'll be traveling to airport, at what time the client will come to pick me up, at what time I'll be carrying out opening meeting, how at what time I'll be doing my lunch, at what time I'll be doing my closing meeting, at what time I'll be sharing the report. So all this needs to be pre-planned prior to going to an audit. Last but not the least, guys, outcome. Once we have done all the audit, we have to make sure outcome is very effective and efficient. If outcome is very effective and efficient, it will be make first of all it will make the credibility of an individual auditor in front of the client. It it will help the auditee, the ones we are doing audit, to understand what are the gaps or what are the management gaps in them, and how all these things can be improved. So these are the things that we have to make sure while carrying on audit. We have to understand the scope, we have to understand the objective, we have to understand the criteria, we have to identify which team should we allocate, we have to make the schedule, and we have to make sure that outcome is very effective and efficient, and it is in line with the scope of the audit. So define all audit scope clearly, including process, department, and location. Establish audit objective such as compliance and verification. Identify audit criteria. Allocate team, schedule activity, proper planning, ensure and make sure the outcome is very effective and efficient. So this is just what I have explained you in the above slide. Now, audit preparation, guys. While carrying out audit, we have to make sure we have reviewed all documented information such as policy, procedure, and records. Normally, what I have done, I have asked client to share all. I've shared the list of document with the client, and client has shared me all the documents to me over the mail. So what I will do, prior to going to the plant, I'll review all the policy, procedure, and plans and records what client have shared with me. So it will, first of all, it will do two to three things. First thing is that it will reduce my time for document verification, so I can use that time for on-site audit. Second thing is I'll be able to understand the process, the organization process very easily, which include the types of audit they carry out, what type of records they maintain. And with the document only, I have created 20% of my report by seeing document only prior to going to the client site. And with that, with the help of report only and the procedure and the document which is shared by the client, I have also prepared my audit checklist, guys. So in this way, it has helped me a lot. And as an auditor, as an individual auditor, guys, it will help you guys also a lot. And this is the question when you go for ISO 45001 examination. This is the question that the institutes ask again and again about the audit preparation. Point three, guys, understand the organizational process and risk. So by reviewing the document, I will try to understand what are the risks that are involved. Then with this only, what I will do at last, I when I've done my site visit and my documentation, I'll I interview with the auditees, the team whom I'm auditing. For example, what could be the question, guys? The question could be, what is OHS policy in your organization? Do you know? Are you aware of the PPs which are present in the company? Are your PPs are up to the mark? Are you aware of fire extinguisher training? Does the top management involve in management meeting to the workers? So these are the questions which I'll ask. The arrangement of logistics is also very important. So what I have done, I've pre-booked all the cabs for me. A cab will come to take me, client will come to pick me up from the airport, drop me to the airport. So I've arranged all the logistics, and this preparation will automatically improve the audit effectiveness. I hope everybody understand, guys, the importance of audit. So guys, you can see someone from our group is constantly updating a WhatsApp group link. So I would request everybody to join that particular link. In the particular WhatsApp group, we'll be updating key documents with respect to ISO and HSE. And whoever wants to do certification will also update about the certification in the group itself. Now the question is audit checklist development. How to develop an audit checklist? So point number one, prepare clause-based question. Let me give you an example. So this is the checklist. This is ISO 45001 audit checklist that we have prepared and we use while carrying out the audit. While we carrying out ISO audit, specifically 45001. So you can see we have prepared a draft checklist and we'll just give tick mark to understand the company and to understand the organization. However, the report will be very vast, but we have prepared a checklist for us. Let me give an example. Have the organization determine external and internal issues affecting OHS management system? If it is identified, yes. If it is not identified, you can give no. So base, you can see each and every clause is covered. This is clause 4, context of organization. This is clause 5, which is respect to leadership. This is clause 6, which is with respect to planning. Clause 7, support. So don't worry, guys. On our last day, we'll be going through each and every clause and each and every part of this checklist. So you will be very competent and you will be able to understand how checklist is prepared for an ISO audits. So this is a checklist that we have prepared. So first thing, we have prepared the clause based questions. Second, we also we have to see what are the legal requirement, what are the local legal requirement, and that needs to be incorporated in the checklist. Point number three, we have to include process specific questions. Process specific questions means the the uh, uh, for the audit which I'll be going in upcoming Sunday. The audit is not at the plant. The audit is at the corporate. So if I'll update in my checklist, or if I wrote in my checklist about the machine safety, so it will not make any relevance. So we have to include the process specific questions. We also have to add an objective evidence column. We have to add that what are the objectives that we have identified, record finding during the audit. And yes, it could be customized by the department. It's not that we have to make only one generic checklist. It could be customized as and when required by the department. So guys, here we covered till module number 8. So let me take you to the standard, guys, once again. We have covered for clause 4, clause 5, and clause 6. We have covered clause 7, clause 8, and clause 9, and clause 10 in upcoming slide. So don't worry, guys. We'll be going through each and every clause of this standard day after tomorrow once we complete the presentation. So I hope, guys, everyone understand. It was an interactive session for everyone, and there was a good learning for each and every one of us. And I would recommend everyone to join the WhatsApp group link which our team is constantly sharing. And at the same time, I would request everyone to do or to get certified in this ISO 45001 certification, because this certification, guys, will take you to the next level, and it will increase your credibility in front of the management, or in front of the interviewer, Mr. Samir. So we'll be sharing the notes in the group itself. I would request you to join the group. So I would request everyone to join next to training session also, guys, because we'll be completing presentation hopefully tomorrow. And on our last day we'll be going through ISO 45001 standard, and we'll try to touch each and every clause of this standard. Okay, guys, thank you everyone. Thank you for joining the session. Anyone have any doubt, guys, that you want to ask? They can update in the group itself. So someone is asking about the aggregation of our ISO 45001 course. So guys, this certification is backed up by IIRSM. In your certification, IIRSM would be written. It is backed up by IIRSM. You can search in Google what is meant by IIRSM. It is backed up by IIRSM, and any certification which is backed up by this type of agency will make the certification more credible. So I would request everyone register on the course. Participants will receive study materials and recording sessions in the once they enroll in the certification course. So Mr. Wakas Ahmed is asking, what is the difference between what you are asking, sir? Difference between audit and inspection. So, sir, when we say no, no, sir, we will not receive any participation certificate. However, we would request you to register for this certification course. So when I say audit, sir, Mr. Vakasji, when I say audit, it's a systematic review of the management system. However, inspection is workplace inspection, like inspecting fire extinguisher. So you can contact us, sir, for registration. You can contact us. You can see just below on your comment. On your comment, our team is replying you with the mobile number. I hope, sir, you understand the difference between audit and inspection. Mr. Vakas, did you understand? So, guys, okay. Thank you for joining. I would request everyone to join for next 2 days also. We'll deep dive. We'll deep dive into the ISO 45001 for next 2 days also. Next 2 days also. We'll be also seeing the specific standards also. So it will make you more clear about the concept of this ISO 45001. Okay, thank you everyone. Good night.